Brett and I think you know this, but Brett and I do not disagree with you. I think the only thing that Brett and our approach is you're just a little ahead of it. And the message boards are the message boards. You're probably the only one in there that knows what they're talking about. Seriously. And I wouldn't have you on here if you didn't know what you were talking about. That's no joke. But we think you're just a little ahead of it. That's all. But none of us on this
No, I
panel
understand.
really agree with anything the message boards say because none of us are in there. A lot of them they know nothing about, and they don't. And you showed us some of the text. They're like, who the F is Mark Lesko? I'm like, thank you God they don't know who I am because most of them have an IQ of -7, so it doesn't matter. But you give your piece, and that's great. But a lot of the message boards, and I think you know this, but dude, they don't know anything. They don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. They don't. But you do. So we're not the ones in the message board saying any of this, and we don't disagree with you. But we're just being a little. We're being like, I'm just letting it play out. My stance has always been we have a real coach. I trust him. That's it. I think we're going to be okay. But Jared, for your second time tonight, go ahead and talk.
Well, sticking with this subject of divas. Okay, so you know that I come from theater. I have met many divas, and 9 times out of 10, and I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 with a lot of confidence, they knew what they were doing. In that regard, were they right to feel like they were divas? Yeah, because in the world of theater, okay, not to keep going on it, but there are things that you do when you step up to do your solo. They always say in the South, when you go into a solo, you stomp your feet down and you deliver everything you've got. You become Aretha Franklin in that moment. I'm telling you right now, it is incredible when people stomp down and give their moment. And a lot of these players know how to do that. So,
are you from down south?
I'm saying I've met a lot of people who are in the gospel.
Gotcha.
Like they know that they can command an entire. They will blow that rafter off. I mean, that's just how it works. So these players, if they're divas, they know it. Like they, in the sense, like they know why they act that way because they've got the talent. They know how to bring it. But the question is, how do you contain it? How do you actually put it when it matters the most? And does a guy like Matt Cambell have that in him to take care of Big Ten divas as opposed to what he has in Iowa State? Now, again, I can only imagine if Iowa State guys come in and they're kind of like, you know, the middle tier, like what would be that to the music world? Like, you know, you got your respectable, like, you know, I don't know, is Chris Stapleton like in the middle of the pack? I'm not saying like, you know, and then you got like Lady Gaga and Adele over here, you know, just throwing everything off and just being like, okay, I'm not messing with you. I'm just saying, like, there's different levels of this. I'm just saying there's different levels of what guys can bring. And I just appreciate that Penn State has the ability to bring these kind of guys in and know that they can do that on the field. So can Matt Cambell do it? Again, this is really a guessing game. I'm not really it can't really pinpoint when it's going to matter. But so far, he's going to bring his guys in. I can only hope they make noise. That's really what it's going to be about. If you don't plant your feet, at least be able to get an applause. Like, you don't have to get a standing O. Just please at least get an applause.
Yeah, and Chris, don't jump down my throat for this, but I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. By the way, I asked my dad if he wanted to come on tonight. He was sleeping, so he was already in bed, so he couldn't come on. He was tired, but I wanted him to come on tonight because we would have had 7 people on this panel. We had 6, you know, but Joe Paterno, we went. And again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. We went into every single game knowing with Joe Paterno as the head coach, we could win. Every game we went into with James Franklin, we knew We could lose 10-0 against FIU. I am ashamed of some of the performances that James Franklin coach teams put on. Ashamed. Okay? Joe Paterno could walk into Walmart right now, pick out 22 people, and compete in the Big Ten. All right? Maybe that's what Matt Cambell is doing. Whether any of us agree with it or not, maybe that's what he's doing. He's getting guys that he is comfortable with. That is my opinion. I am analyzing what Matt Cambell is doing. All I know is the previous coach was horrible. He's gone. We have a real coach now, plus Terry Smith. That's all I know. I trust in Matt Cambell. That has always been my approach. I don't disagree with Chris. I just take it as I'm analyzing what they're doing. We have Terry Smith. We have Matt Cambell. He demoted Dan Connor. He let go of Deion Barnes. People are like, why'd you let go of Deion Barnes? This sucks. Or why'd you demote Dan Connor? I don't know, man. I'm not a coach. All I know is I trust in Matt Cambell and Terry Smith. That's all I know. So that's my approach. Doesn't mean I disagree with anybody, but that is my approach. I think it's a Joe Paterno approach right now. I don't care what the age of college football is now. One thing that never dies is real coaching, real football players. That never dies. Indiana is an example. Do I think that'll ever happen again? Probably not. I compare them to 2019 LSU. That'll never happen again. Indiana this year, I don't know if it'll ever happen again. I can't predict the future. But Matt Cambell, I think, in his presser, he did. In his presser, he mentioned Kerry Collins, Kyle Brady. He mentioned legends at Penn State. That tells me one thing. He's got Terry Smith by his side. Maybe he's taking an old school Joe Paterno approach. And here's a bit of an idea for you. Maybe because it worked. What Joe Paterno did is timeless. It's ageless. He's the winningest coach of all time. Several people looked up to him, including Nick Saban, Coach K, Bobby Bowden. Several young coaches looked up to Joe Paterno. Maybe because it worked. Maybe because it's timeless. I don't know, but I think that's the approach that Matt Cambell is taking. That is my only stance on it. That's where I sit. That's where I'm going to stay. That's it. The rest of it is just noise. That doesn't mean I disagree with Chris, Brett, Aaron, Jared, anybody. That's just my stance. That's it.
Well, the Matt Cambell stuff about bringing up
Joe
Kerry Collins, Kyle Brady. He was a Penn State fan growing up.
Who?
Matt Cambell was a Penn State fan.
Exactly. So Joe Paterno, guys, left a legacy that will never, ever die. I think people underestimate how much of an impact that made on not only his players, Nick Saban, protege of Joe Paterno, Coach K, protege of Joe Paterno, Kurt Signetti from Pittsburgh. You think Joe Paterno had an impact on the way he approaches football right now? Probably. So it's just the scandal, all of it. No one knows what people that make jokes. They don't know the facts of the situation. Joe Paterno is the greatest, most famous coach to ever walk the face of the earth. Maybe Matt Campbell's taking that approach. That's it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the man. I don't know. So that's. I don't mean to be long-winded, but you guys go ahead.
Who's up? So let me just say something real quick. And let me finish what I was trying to say when I brought up the whole patient part. I'm not against Matt Cambell. I'm not saying like, oh shit, I'm out on Matt Cambell.
I don't think that at all.
I'm not saying that. Well, when I mentioned patience, you said, well, I'm still giving him a chance to see what he produces on the field. Like, I'm still giving him a chance to see what he does. All I was doing is making the point when people were bringing up the silver linings and, well, maybe he didn't go after top players because of this or that or blah, 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 blah. He just didn't do it. I'm just saying, in the portal, he didn't do it. Not going to rehash that. I'm just saying he didn't do it. I'm still going to give him a chance. If he goes out and attacks the 2027 recruiting class and he spends what he needs to spend, and we get a lot of these regional top guys like a Khalil Taylor, a Matthew Gregory, a Peter Bork, if we get a lot of these guys, okay, we're good. I see he's doing what he has to do to compete with the big boys. So I'm not out on him. I don't want people to think, but no. I'm just a guy that keeps it real when it comes to the portal. Thought things were going to be a little better. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, and Chris, if anybody thinks that you're out on Matt Cambell, they're a moron, because I know that's not true. Yeah. He's been here not even 2 months, Chris. So to me, he's been here not even 2 months. At the end of the month, it'll be 2 months that he's been at Penn State. Since the day he did his press conference till now, the end of November, the end of January will be 2 months. To me, that says one thing. He's not going. Whatever he's doing at Penn State. Rocco Beck said he's a new guy. He's a new coach. Whatever he's not doing is for a reason, in my opinion. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So,
you want to hear a funny Joe Paterno story that I saw the other day? So, you know how like Paterno was against having names on the jerseys and having symbols because he didn't like individualism and he wanted the whole team, like, you know, it's a team. It's not. So I was watching this documentary on him, and he was talking about, you know, growing up in Brooklyn and all. And the Columbus Day Parade was, I don't know what year it was, but regardless, the Columbus Day Parade was coming up. And obviously that's a big holiday for Italians. And a bunch of his Italian buddies called him from New York, asked him to come and march with them in the Columbus Day Parade for Italian heritage. And he was like, you know, they asked me to do that, and they're going to be waving the flags, and the flags got the symbols of the Italian, and there's all these symbols. He was so against like the identities of a symbol that he didn't even want to go march, and he has a ton of pride as an Italian, but he didn't even want to go march in the Columbus Day Parade because of symbols on the Italian flag. That's how against like the whole symbols he was and all that, and like identity.
Well,
but I don't know. I just found that kind of funny. So
you talk about the Yankees, like Joe Paterno modeled a lot of many parts of Penn State football behind the New York Yankees. Black shoes, no names. I don't care if you're a Yankees fan or not. That's one of the most, if not the most iconic, that's one of the most iconic sports franchises to ever exist. Joe Paterno modeled Penn State after the Yankees. So I'm a Pirates fan. I don't like the Yankees, but you know what? They're one of the best of all time. You think of best franchises of all time, like iconic sports brands. Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. Not so much Alabama. They weren't always a powerhouse when Saban was there, but the Yankees, Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Pirates, the Red Sox. The Pirates are a pretty historic franchise. That's why the fans are so mad. But, greatness is greatness. And when you model greatness when you model your team after greatness, like Joe did with the Yankees or whatever it is, you're doomed to repeat it. If you want to become great at something, follow someone who's already great at it and model what they do. That's a story as old as time. Kobe Bryant modeled his game after Michael Jordan. I mean, I'm not trying to go off on a tangent, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that Penn State is so great is because they modeled a great franchise in the Yankees. So that's Joe Paterno. He is what he is. He's from Brooklyn, and it had a trickle down effect. So
not allowed to wave the Italian flag, man. How isn't the Italian flag the symbol of all Italians? It was just funny watching that, how against it he was. He would even complain about a truck driving down the street. If there was a truck like delivering some kind of product, like for some food distribution, like Ferraro Foods, he didn't even like seeing signs on trucks representing the company. That's how against it he was. Oh, funny, man.
Chris, which documentary is it?
I don't remember. There's so many on there. If you could pull it up. It was a lot. Well, it wasn't short. I know it's pretty long.
Yeah, try to find out which one it is so we can watch it. But I watched one recently. Jay Paterno's in it. It's just like Penn State football history, you know. But
the one Jay does is pretty. I don't like Jay Paterno. He's a total douchebag. But
yeah, I mean, who does?
The documentary he did was good though. Like that was like well, you know.
The problem is Jay Paterno doesn't like Jay Paterno. That's why. So, yeah, that's kind of the problem. Yeah.
And I want to say this. I want to say this. Like anytime I've spoken to Jay Paterno, Jay Paterno. Anytime I see him, it's, you know, I don't know him personally. I've never like talked to him like long term, but anytime I see him, it's a, hey, I've seen you before. How you doing? You know, hey Jay, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Like I've seen him enough that he like recognizes me. Jay Paterno is a very nice guy when you talk to him on the street. He's a very nice guy. I just want to say that. But Brett met
Steve Jones
the other day
last week, Chris. Yeah,
and he said
he sounds just like Jared, man. Get that guy on. You could do an impersonation.
Yeah, Chris always says Jared sounds just like Steve Jones on the radio. But Steve said he's listened to us in the past, so that's
Steve Jones likes the show.
So does Landon.
Steve's a good dude.
Steve's a really good guy, man. It was good seeing him.
Man. Yeah,
I'll have to send you a picture if you didn't see it.
Yeah, and Brett called me. He's like, "Yeah, man, he's such a nice guy, he's such a genuine guy." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like that's Steve Jones. Like he's always been like that." Yeah. But hold on, Joe Paul's got a story.
I think I found it.
Ah.
Yeah, of course they did.
Ah.
What are you guys saying all to?
Just that story from Joe Paul.
Yeah.
I found the documentary if you want it.
What's it called?
Joe Paterno documentary from 2002. We are Penn State because of Jopa. And it's not new. Cole 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 Kitchen is whose page it is.
Yeah. Cole Kitchen, he's the man. I've tried to get him on here a time or two. He is I think he's just a really private guy. But him, Arc Life, Arc Life. If you don't know who Arc Life is, follow him on YouTube. He plays every old game. Like I was watching 1997 Pittsburgh versus Penn State when Mike McQuarrie had the aim of a drunken hunter.
I was at that game.
Dude, Mike McQuarrie was so inaccurate. Like I love Mike McQuarrie, but man. But anyway,
at that time, that he set the single game Penn State passing record. That game, I'm sure it's probably been broken, but I remember that game. He broke the passing record that game.
You can thank the receivers for bailing them out.
Chris, what was the name of wasn't it Mike Walsh, the head coach of Pittsburgh? What was his name?
Oh God, there was a Walsh, I forget. What year was it?
97. And I think Curtis Enos was in the doghouse that game because Aaron Harris was playing. Aaron Harris was playing more than him. But absolutely. I had AJ Wallace on here and he was like, "Yeah, man, I was in Joe's doghouse." I'm like, "Yeah, I remember."
Walt Harris was the Pitt coach. Walt Harris was the Pitt. Yeah.
What did I say?
Walsh, something to Walsh. We were close.
Okay, Walt Harris. So, and I'm not trying to get off on a tangent. I'm sorry, but if you watch Arc Life, he plays all the old games. I watched Penn State versus Pitt, the whole thing, 1997, because my earliest memories was like 99, when LeVar was big, Chaffee Fields, those guys, not Curtis Enos, but Aaron Harris. But one of the best documentaries during the scandal was, I think it's called, is it Happy Valley? There's another documentary where they pretty much just follow Kevin Horney, Kevin Horney is on Landon's show on For the Blogging. He's on there all the time. Kevin Horney, I knew him when I was in college. So this one documentary they did on Penn State during the scandal, they just followed Kevin Horney pretty much, who is now an attorney. But that's one of the better documentaries to watch. Speaking of what Chris was bringing up. But yeah, Chris, can you bring up the link? Can you put that in the chat?
I don't know. Oh, while I'm on my phone, hold on. Let me go on my computer and I'll try to. I don't know how to. Let me see.
But this is at the 2012 whiteout. There's me and a pink Care Bear, and Kevin Horney is right there. So I did.
Oh, I see you.
I did. Yeah, there's me. I was all white. We were in Paternoville, and there's Kevin. He was in our group. So it was Kevin, Steve, dude, I can't remember their names. But I used to go to the gym with this dude. He was like 6'4", 260, pure muscle. Doug Rohrbaugh, his brother was a long snapper on the team. Mike and Jack. And I gave this girl Reese's Pieces. I remember that. But we were on TV. Like, we were actually on TV during that game. But that's Kevin Horney. Like, I knew Kevin in college, but Kevin Horney, the guy that most of you know from For the Bloggy, yeah, he he's a good guy. Kevin's a good guy.
I don't know how to. This whole thing is screwing me up here. I don't know how to link it from my phone. I mean, I just got the whole chat up now. It's even blocking your.
You can just send it in the group thing, man. That's fine.
Yeah, well, I'll link it below, Chris.
Yeah, send it in the text.
Well, just type. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me see.
Aaron and Jared, the two biggest talkers on the show tonight. Do you guys have anything to say? Anything else to say?
Well,
I mean, honestly, I think we've exercised as much as we can from this one. I know that Penn State is in a better place than it was with Franklin. Yeah. The culture has just been so lost for
That's
so
my
long.
mindset,
I mean,
man.
There's just something about it was just so in a fog. It was all over the place. I mean, it was a maze and a path. Like I just know that a guy like Matt Cambell, with the way he conducted himself with, the conference, he opened up, how he was going to do things and how great he was to be a part of this new era. Like, and to know that we have a guy that has that much passion, has that much, enjoyment for life. Like, he just seems like a great guy. I'm very happy to see that we've got a guy who seems a little more level-headed. Like, again, there is something to be said about a diva where James Franklin, I mean, he tried to plant his feet, but it got caught in the, the gutter. Like, I just feel like he just never knew how to do it properly. He knew how to send it, but it was off key. It was bad. I just feel like this is definitely one of the more important moments of Penn State. I mean, we talk again. I love the comments, guys. By the way, huge wrestling fan, huge volleyball fan. I very much appreciate a lot of things that come out with Penn State. And of course, the hockey team, fantastic, amazing.
Wrestling.
But like the football team, guys, this is something that people keep talking about with this or with our university, where it's like football, isn't it always great? I mean, we want it to be great, but it has not been truly great for quite some time. So we can't really say that we can put ourselves with the wrestling and the hockey team or the volleyball, because again, they're the ones that really plant their feet in this university. We're the ones who are trying to get on that stage. We're still a little gun shy. We don't know how to, put our solo out just yet. I just feel like give Matt Cambell a chance, and I think this choir will sing. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Matt, you love music. You love music, don't you?
Yeah. Jared's a theater guy. So Jared, through Jared's connections, we got Jeff Brown on here, legendary broadcaster from State College.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have Steve Jones on.
And through his internet connection right now, we got Florida weather. Look, you can see the humidity on his screen.
Who?
Yeah.
J-Rod.
Sure.
I said his internet connection is embracing Florida humid weather.
Yeah. So I just want to say this real quick, guys, before Aaron gives his piece. And this might sound corny, but every day, what I try to do every day of my life is I try to have one of the most priceless things in life in general, whether you're where you're at, where you want to be or not, is gratitude. Every day. And I wasn't always like this, but one thing that I've trained myself to be every day I wake up is grateful. Having gratitude for everything that I have. All right. Gratitude. Gratitude is a very great thing to have. Every day I wake up, I try to have gratitude for everything that I have. The family that I have, the family that I've lost, having learned what I've learned from them, the friends that I have, the podcast, the job, my health. I'm able to go to the gym every day and do what I love. Gratitude. Have gratitude every day I wake up. So when I say I'm grateful for having a new coach, that's just part of my identity. Like, I am grateful that we have a real coach now. I love Penn State football. So, yeah, if I'm being optimistic about what Campbell's doing or this or that or whatever Penn State football is doing, that is a huge part of my life. So I am just grateful, for example, that we have a real coach now. Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture, like, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that, like they should be doing this, they should be doing that. Maybe I'm a little naive to some things that are happening, but I am very grateful that we have a real coach now. It has been 12 long years of mediocrity. We never lived up to our potential. This year literally exposed everything I've been saying for years. Everything. It's exposed everything. So I am grateful that we have a real coach now. So I am going to believe in him. That is my approach. So I think everyone, whether you're a listener or whatever, just have gratitude. Just have gratitude for whatever it is in life. That's my approach to life in general. That's approach to my everyday. That's my approach to Penn State football. I'm just grateful. So, Chris, you all right?
You're very sentimental tonight, man. No, I don't know what to say. I just got to wait and see what happens. I was going to say, you guys want to meet up? If you want to meet up for the blue-white game, the spring game, we could maybe get together to meet up.
Yeah.
If you guys go to the spring game, you guys live right there.
Yeah,
something
I've never
to do.
been to one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, breaking the Matt Cambell era. Jared will fly up from Florida. He'll sing us a few songs. I'm going to nominate Jared to sing the national anthem at the blue and white game. You got it, Jared.
I'm getting my voice back, so I'll be ready.
Aaron, you got anything else to say?
I'll just end on. There's a thing I always say when we get in front of a client, and I have to tell them how we're going to rebuild everything because their network sucks, right? And I always say to them, you can have all the money in the world. I can give you every resource, all the data, everything you could possibly need. If you do not know how to manage and use it, you might as well flush it down the toilet. It's going to be completely useless to you. I could give you $50 million. If you don't know how to manage your money, you're going to piss it away. It's not going to matter, right? So the question is, what can you do with what you've got? And that's what we're going to have to wait and see with Matt Cambell. What can he do with what he's got? I would say you can win this thing with 3 stars, you can win it with 4 stars, you can win it with 5 stars, but it comes down to how do you manage it, and do you know how to use what you get? So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think, next year they're going to be breaking it in, but if he gets the guys that he needs to work with his setup and work with the players and build the right rapport internally, then yes, you can win with those guys. It's just going to be a question of how does he, how good is he at managing that room? And some of that is managing divas, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got guys who don't fit the mold, and you've got to learn how to take their energy and point it in the right direction as a leader.
Yeah.
We had all the time in the military. You have to work with people you're not used to working with, or maybe who just don't work well with others, because you run into that. But
and one thing I will never understand personally is Aaron and what he went through in the military. Hurry up and wait. I will never truly understand what that means, but I do know what patience is, and we just need to be patient. Again, that does not mean I disagree with Chris in any way. And Chris, I don't know if you've read some of the YouTube comments, man, but man, they're going after you, man. They are. They're like, Chris, like, shut the F up. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah, no, look, the majority of fans, it's what I said. When you guys were laughing and shit earlier on, I knew that's what it was about. The majority of fans, and this is every team, not just Penn State, they're sunshine pumpers. They want to hear the positive spins, the nicey nice stuff. When Nick Singleton was signed, everybody was jumping for joy. Said the guy's a hell of a player, great back. I said he has issues. I said he doesn't have elusiveness. He can't meet people in this. People jump down my throat. 3 years later, they're saying, wow, sorry, you were right. Listen, guys, if you don't like a realistic person, then I don't know what to tell you. I won't come on. Don't listen to me. It is what it is. I follow this stuff like religion. I know who they offered. I know who they didn't offer in the portal. They did not go after big top portal names like we thought. If you guys have a hard time coping with that and spin your positive stuff to somebody else, I'm always going to be myself. I turn a lot of people off like that. I get it, but I'm never going to be fake. You're never, ever going to hear me look for one constant silver lining after another when, it either is or it isn't. It's that simple. Well, we'll see what he does with 27 recruiting class.
Yeah, Chris.
I know half the people in the friggin' chat think you could do what Indiana did, right?
Yeah, and
they probably think you go out and do. Jesus.
Regardless of whatever any of you think, commenters, the chat boards, whatever, if you listen, Chris is going to come out on here and talk. So whether you like it or not, he's going to keep talking, and you guys are going to keep bitching. So Chris actually has his face on a screen. You guys don't. You're a bunch of morons in a chat with Viper123 as your freaking profile name. So Chris is going to have more airtime than all of you. So the more you complain,
if anybody wants to come up and have a discussion with me, I'd happily hash it out with them.
Yeah, but
that's
they
up to
won't
them.
do that. So they're a bunch of.
Mark, you tried to have a gimmick with me. You said I need to have an apron, because I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking and everything. I think what we need to do with Chris is that we need to have a rocking chair. We need to have Whittle. We need to have like a spittoon bucket, and he can be like Grandpa Chris. Where he's just kind of going to hash out his sense for all the youngins out there. They're going to listen up, and they're going to say what Grandpa Chris is going to say. That might be something you might want to think about.
Be like, these goddamn kids complaining all the time.
It is what it is. I don't know. What do you want me to do? It's just, I don't know. It's.
Yeah, Chris is, and I said this to you, I don't know if you saw it the other day, Chris, but I said, Chris, it doesn't matter what you do. If you take a stance, people are going to have pushback. So
sure.
It is.
Can I tell you a quick story about something that happened last night? You want to hear the pushback I got? This is totally off topic. So, how I listen to mob stuff. So I was listening to Angel Gotti last night. I'm not going to be long-winded. I'll tell you something quick about this. So there's this guy, this MobTube, they call it MobTube instead of YouTube. All these people have channels, they all fight, they all hate each other, whatever. And there's a guy that goes by, have this channel named Tony Soflo, and he's a Cuban. He lives in Miami, right? And all these rumors came out. All these people hate him, saying he was deported, and he's deported. All these channels were going after him, saying, "Great, the guy was finally deported." And I have a buddy of mine that knows him, says he wasn't deported. So he disappeared for a month, and all these rumors were going on that he was deported. So out of nowhere, Angel Gotti, who is John Gotti's daughter, and I was in her chat last night, is the guy, this Tony Soflo pops up in the chat. He goes, "Here I am. I'm not in a detention center." He shows himself in the hotel room. First, it was an audio. So all the people that wanted him deported said, "That's just an audio. He's not showing his face." Then the guy shows his face. "Oh, well, that's inside. It could be in a detention center. Show me a license plate. Show me a phone book." The guy goes outside. He shows a phone book. He already shows a license plate. He's walking around freely outside in Florida, I guess. And there were still people that see, people want to go with their narrative. If the narrative is positive, the narrative for that guy was, no, for a month I said the guy's deported. I can't be wrong. The guy was walking around the USA showing USA license plate outside, and there were people still saying, "Oh no, he's deported." And I'm in there. I said, "You guys were wrong about everything," and people were snapping out on me. It's like, holy fuck. I know that probably made no sense to you, but it's just I don't know. I've never gotten out of spinning, even for myself. Like, people would say, "Oh, look at the bright side," or if you're down, you could, like at work, somebody would joke around, "Hey, you going to get a hot girl tonight?" I said, "No, I'm 290 fucking pounds, dude. I ain't going to get any no hot girl." I said, I'm a fat shit. Like, well, that's real. I'm even real about myself. People sit there and say, like, "Oh, you got to have," like, I don't get anything out of fake positivity, fake spins. So even towards myself, even with myself, it is what it is. Like, I take things for what they are. I don't spin bullshit.
If I, and Brett knows, man, if I even remotely let half the comments bother us, I wouldn't have a show. I mean, we have several. That's the thing. I've always told Brett and Jared specifically, who are on this show, if you don't know your stuff, they are going to eat you alive. So in order to be on this show, especially be a part of this show, you need to know your stuff. Everybody that comments to us, the thousands upon thousands of comments that have been on the show, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, combined IQ of like -1. None of them have ever made a solid point. None of them have ever cooked Brett or I. We've always cooked them. That's what happens when you know what you're talking about. So it is what it is. Like, Chris knows his stuff. He doesn't need to explain himself. No one needs to know. No one needs to explain themselves.
That's nice, Thomas.
Jared's a real one. Chris is a real one. That's why they're on here. So you got to know your stuff. You got to know your stuff, because if you don't, people will expose that. Seriously, you can't be disingenuous in the podcast world. You can't be disingenuous in the sports world. Joe Rogan, at the end of the day, he's himself. Whether people agree with it or not, he's himself. And that's all you got to be. It is what it is, Chris. Like, people say what they say.
No, so I told you I couldn't see any comments. All I see is the ones you put, the few that you put up. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I mean, I know what these people are like anymore. I mean, it's just people want the positive. It is what it is. It's
6'2", 300. I mean, that's undersized on this team. Our center is 6'4", 290. So
we'll take him. I mean, we need another O-line guy. We'll take it, Thomas. We'll put you at interior O-line. We're going to put 30 more pounds on you, though. 15.
You can make I don't like how well you guys know the teams. I was thinking more about the RB spot, how we're talking about RB1. And the more I look and watch Carson Hansen and other guys, I am fully convinced that Quinton Martin should be RB1. Hansen is a solid, tough runner, but he's not a burner. He's like a 4'6" guy. He's not going to be explosive.
He's a third down package. Third down.
Grind. He could catch the ball. He's a grinder between tackles. James People has a little more shake to him. He's not a burner either, but he's more elusive. I think your best back is if you want an explosive back that can make guys miss and take it the distance. I think that's Quentin Martin over Carson. So Hanson. Sorry,
I like them all. They're all a little bit different.
Yeah, I just want to say,
I could see Peoples breaking out, but Quentin Martin would be my first choice too.
I just want to say, I know Brett is going to be shocked by this, but I think Quentin Martin should be RB1. That's just my opinion.
I'm
Brett.
Yeah, I know I love Quentin Martin.
It's not like you, Mark, at all, but Quentin Martin. I think it's going to be either Hanson or Quentin, and then it's either going to be Quentin or Hanson, and then I still think even though RB1's a battle, RB2 is going to be a battle too. It's going to be Hanson,
all
Quentin,
three of them are going to be a battle. They're going to play a lot.
But and I think Peoples is pretty underrated. Like I think a lot of people aren't truly. There's a lot.
No, Peoples is a solid pickup. He was a solid pickup.
Yeah.
So, but Thomas, basically, going off of what you're saying, I'm playing on a semi-pro team. So that helmet back there, that's my semi-pro football helmet. It was pink and black. We were called the State College Flash. It was after a strip club. We used to go to the strip club to pick up our equipment. So everything that is in a strip club, we would see going to just pick up our equipment. We would lift in there. But anyway, I painted that white and blue. So that's not a real Penn State football helmet. That's my semi-pro helmet that I painted white and blue, but just going off of what
Thomas, what team could you say what team you're playing for? If you don't want to, it's okay. Just curious what team. They used to have some of those around where I live too.
Yeah, is that 8 versus 8, Thomas? That's what I did. I think it was 8 versus 8. And it's on a short field too. Or was it I think it was 8 versus 8 on
They've had so many of them.
Like 60-yard field, I think. That's what I played.
Like where I live in the Wilkes-Barre area, they used to have the Wilkes-Barre Stallions and the it's called the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Stallions, and there's another Scranton Wilkes-Barre team. I forget the name of them. But, you guys familiar – Tri-County. Okay. So you guys familiar with Pottsville, PA? I'm sure you heard of, Yingling and all that. Pottsville, PA, you guys heard of, right?
I've been there.
Yep.
All right. So do you know that – this is an interesting story. And because I worked right outside of Pottsville – that they actually had an NFL football team that won it all one year. And I guess this was way, I don't remember what year. This was obviously way, way back.
Yeah.
And they actually played the Four Horsemen team from Notre Dame and beat them. Yeah. And because they played this is what I was told, because they played the Four Horsemen, they kind of took away their title because they weren't supposed to play a college team. I don't know the exact story, but this is what people at work told me. But anyways, that Pottsville team, they're called the Pottsville Maroons, that went from one organization to another, I think are the current Washington Commanders.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
anyways.
I remember hearing that too, Chris. I remember where I saw that. It was on some football. It was an NFL documentary or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured.
Yeah, I'll say this. When I played semi-pro, like you played against some legit guys, like guys that played in college, guys that used to play in the NFL. I was
just answering that comment.
Yeah, at that time I was like 6'1", 220, and I played corner. So most corners aren't that size. I played corner, and I played corner. So our linemen were they were huge. But I took a hit from a former NFL running back. I went in too high. He put the crown of his helmet into my sternum. Now, this was like the second play of the game. I was playing corner. So the rest of the game, I couldn't lift my arms. I thought my sternum was broken because I took a hit from a former NFL running back. If they would have thrown to my side, I'd have been running with my arms down because I couldn't lift my arms. So semi-pro is legit. They have some good guys playing, and the hit that I took from that guy, man, I'll tell you, it hurt.
Can I answer Joe's question real quick since he's asking me about Jimmy Hoff? I'll be quick about it.
Oh, Joe Paul, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Paul, thank you for the memberships, and Gambler, thank you for the donation. I'm trying to find it here.
So what happened with Hoffa, and I know this because the guy that you might think I'm crazy. The guy that ordered Hoffa killed is right down the road, lived right down the road from my house. The mob boss that in the movie The Irishman, Joe Pesci played Russell Buffalino. Russell Buffalino lived right down the road from my house. And his relatives, well, he doesn't have a big family, but they're still in this area. Jimmy Hoffa, the big union leader, most people, except for younger guys, would know who he is. He was in cahoots with the mob. He was, they were like the mob would give him muscle, and then they would use his pension fund to build casinos. Hoffa was thrown in prison. When he got out of prison, the mob helped get him out by giving Richard Nixon money to pardon him. And the condition of his pardon was he couldn't be in the unions anymore. Hoffa didn't want to accept that, and he started making threats against the mob. It's my union. I want to be back in. So, my neighbor, along with other guys, but mainly the guy that lived down the road from me, Russell Buffalino, tried to warn him several times, keep your mouth shut, keep your mouth shut. He wouldn't do it. They lured him to a house. They killed him, and they're outside of Detroit, and they cremated his body. That is a true – the cremation part in The Irishman was a true story. There was some mob guys outside of Detroit had some kind of ownership in a funeral parlor / crematorium, and they cremated his body. In fact, in the book, I Heard You Paint Houses about Frank Sheeran, he knew he was going to have to be part of Hoffa's killing. And when Buffalino asked him, they're eating dinner, Sheeran didn't want to have to do it because he liked Hoffa. And he said, what about the body? They're going to find it. And Russ took his thumb, rubbed it in an ashtray and said, there'll be no body, ashes, ashes, dust to dust. And they cremated him. Because there's these ridiculous, asinine rumors for ever that Hoffa was buried under Giant Stadium and all that. And he wasn't buried. There's a reason they never found the body, because it was cremated.
Well, I mean, you could get into Ray Gricar, Cindy Song. Central Pennsylvania has been home to some of the most mysterious disappearances in the entire existence of humanity. So, do you know what happened to Ray Gricar, Chris?
I only follow mob stuff as far as that goes. I don't know. I'm not a big true crime guy.
All right.
Stuff.
All right. Ray Gricar is buried under Rockview Prison. Cindy Song is buried somewhere out near me. So we'll rest that. But back to football, guys. Anything else?
No, I'm out of it at this point.
I'm good,
Well,
bud.
Brett texted me, said he wants to keep going, but we should probably get off here. So
I'm tired.
Aaron,
man.
Jared, anybody else?
Oh, I'm still bummed.
Good, man.
I'm toast.
Joe
I'm
Paul.
reading
Yeah,
about Ray
we
Gricar
trust.
now.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Thomas, I would love, honestly, if you said tomorrow, put the pads back on, I would. So if you guys have any openings on your team, let me know. Semi-pro is fun. A lot of fun. But, all right, guys. It was kind of all over the place tonight. But, Chris, thank you for coming on.